Marta, welcome back to Roland-Garros. Coming here with 2 titles on clay, undefeated. How are you feeling, and does that change any mood or thoughts about coming back?
I'm sitting in the same place as I was sitting last year, and I lost my first round. So, uh, honestly, I don't try to think about it. You know, tennis is changing so much. Everyone moves on. I finished my final. There was already qualification starting in Rome. You know, everyone into next one, next one, next one. So, I carry this obviously inside of me, and it's always gonna be part of me. But I'm excited for the future and excited for this tournament.
Hi, Marta.
Hi.
Congrats on a
Thank
great
you.
season so far. Marta, I've been interviewing you since you were 15, and I always got the sense that you always really acknowledged the heaviness in the world. Like you would talk, you're very well aware of everything that's always happening, and you always said it affects you a lot. And I'm wondering, as your career has progressed and you've gotten older, how do you deal with that side of you? Do you embrace it more? Do you control it more? How do you manage that part?
I think for sure I had to work on the part where I want to control things, because when you're disappointed with something and you have your control freak inside, that drains a lot of of your energy, because you want to change things, but there are things that I wanted to change that I had zero control over, because it's just the way the world is. And just letting that go definitely helped. And for sure, just focusing on the things that I can actually change and changing them. It didn't make me, I still understand all of these things. I just don't think they have such an emotional load in them. Also, as you get older, you don't take everything so personal or so close, and that helps. So I never want to be young again. But nothing, a lot of therapy also. It helped, for sure. But yeah, I mean, I'm still the same empathetic person, so I understand things, but I don't let them, ruin my day or ruin my mood or whatever.
Hey, Marta. As you said, you're an emotional player. When you're getting emotional on the court, how do you find it affects your play? Some players it improves, some players it, is a sign that things are going the other direction. Are you one way or the other, where in terms of your emotions getting out on the court, how does it affect your play?
Well, I think I try to focus on, again, coming back, I try to focus on the things that I can control. And there are days when you can play really good, but everything is just not going your way, and it's fine. So I really just try to be realistic about what's going on, rather than just wanting to win and wanting the results and so on. So I know when I need to let it out, and just because it like builds up, and then I have to let it go. And then there are moments where I can kind of explain to myself why I shouldn't feel that way or this way, and I can change my narrative, and I can change change my focus, so then the emotions go away and it doesn't have the same weight on me. But I'm very happy that I'm emotional, so for sure I find ways when it helps me.
Hi, Marta. 2 quick questions, if I could. The first one is, given the results you've had this year, do you come in here thinking that you could actually contend for this title if you play to the peak of your ability?
So in the last 4 Grand Slams, I lost first round in 3 of them. So, I think it's a very, big jumps. I try not to think about this at all. If people think I can do it, I'm capable of it, great. I'm only thinking about my first match, and then if I win my first match, or when I win my first match, I'm going to be thinking about my second match. But I'm definitely not thinking about the whole thing, because it's just too much. I think if you ask any player who is here, whether it's number 1 in the world, 10, 100, whatever, if they're going to start this tournament thinking they can win it from the first round, it's going to be too difficult to bear this and too difficult to just play tennis. You know, you will think about the result, you will think about the outcome, and this is not the point. The point is to enjoy.
It's understandable. The other one is, you're obviously a comfortable talker in front of the media like this, and your press conference will last a while. My understanding is that there's a directive that players are only to speak to the media for 15 minutes today. Is that something you've been informed of, told to do at all?
Well, I've been informed. I just chose not to do it, and that's it.
So you're going to not adhere to the 15 minutes?
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm aware of the conversation that is going on, and I fully respect players for, bringing these causes out and fighting for them and fighting for the future of tennis. I think it's very important. I was never part of any conversation. I'm aware of it, but I was never there. And again, it's difficult to, tennis is such unique and complex sport that it's difficult to compare it to team events, to team competition. And because tennis has multiple stakeholders, shareholders, but I think to continue the conversation is super important. I'm going to be fulfilling my obligations this week. I'm excited to be here, and that's it. Thank you.
Marta, I believe you were quite into gymnastics when you were younger. You showed us your amazing flip in Madrid. Yannick Sinner was quite an accomplished skier when he was younger. How important is it to do these other sports when you're younger to become a professional tennis player?
I think it definitely developed me really well in the physical part, but I had to deal with a lot of consequences afterwards because, as we know, this type of sports, gymnastics, acrobatics, it's very strict sports. I had to be super skinny. I had to control what I eat. I would weigh myself 20, 30 times a day when I was from 8 to 10 years old, and it's not the weight that you can carry when you are this age, because you are not supposed to think about the food. You are never getting fat, especially when you are doing sports for 5 hours a day. And that had some consequences on me, obviously, that I had to work through, and majority of my life it felt like it was a burden in that sense. Right now I'm free of that, and I'm very grateful that I had the chance to do this sport and to have the ability to do backflip and all of the things that I've done in the past. I also sustained a really big injury when I was young. I broke my adductor, and that had also consequences in my career, which I've also dealt with, and I fixed them, but it took a while. So I don't know about Yannick and how his experience is and if he ever got any bad injuries, but I've been there. So there is always two sides, but for sure it helped my tennis. And I'm happy that I got out on the other side better.
What age did you stop?
I stopped at 11.
Hey Marta, just curious in general then, would you like to be part of conversations about the sport and these political subjects, and is there a reason why you decided not to participate?
Well, I didn't decide not to participate. I was just never asked to be at the discussion. I was not a top 10 player, and I'm still not a top 10 player, so that's probably the reason. I'm very happy to be part of the conversation and discussion. I always have something to say, I always have something to ask, and I like, when more people get together. But again, we're individual sports, so it's great if there's gonna be a change, if things will move forward, but it's not easy. It's different.